Hello everyone and welcome back. In today's teaching, we're going to be discussing the anatomy of the thymus. And the thymus is a primary lymphoid organ that is involved in T lymphocyte maturation. Now, T cells are a type of white blood cell that are involved in cell-mediated immunity. Now, let's go to the shape, the location, the color, and the function of the thymus. Now, it is pinkish in shape, somewhat pinkish in shape, and it is a lobulated lymphoid organ. So if this is a diagram of the thymus, contains lobus, and the shape is bilobed. That means it's divided into a right lobe and a left lobe. Now, by location, it is located in the superior mediastinum in the thoracic cavity, and embryologically, it is derived from the third pharyngeal pouch. So, having discussed the definition, the location, shape, and the embryological origin of the thymus, let's go straight to the function. Now, what are the functions? The first one is that it is involved in T cell maturation. It also prevents autoimmunity, and it secretes thymosin and thymopoietin. Now, if we consider the thymus internally, it's divided into two parts, the cortical portion and the medullary portion. So you can call it the cortical portion and the medullary portion. So if this is being sliced and looking at it internally, histologically, this is what you would find. Now, this part is the cortex, it's the cortical portion, while this part is the medullary portion. Now, let's discuss the cortical portion and the medullary portion respectively. Now, the cortical portion is largely composed of lymphocytes. This cortical portion, they are composed largely of lymphocytes, while the medullary portion, this inner aspect, is located centrally by appearance, and also contains fewer lymphocytes in comparison to the cortex. And also, the medullary portion has increased number of epithelial cells, and also contains what we call the Asau's corpuscle. Now, this structure labeled in red, they are called the Asau corpuscle. So once again, thymus is a lymphoid organ. It is pinkish in color. It is a lobulated organ derived from the third pharyngeal pouch, located in the superior mediastinum. It is bilobed, and it is involved in secretion of thymosin, thymopoietin, T cell maturation, prevents autoimmunity, and internally, it is divided into two parts, the medullary portion and the cortical portion. The cortical portion is largely composed of lymphocytes, while the medullary portion is centrally placed, contains fewer lymphocytes, and has increased number of epithelial cells, and also contains the Asau corpuscle. So let's go to the blood supply, the venous drainage, and the nerve supply of the thymus. Now, the thymus is supplied by the internal thoracic artery. The venous drainage is by the left brachiocephalic vein, and the nerve is the vagus nerve. So brachiocephalic artery, left brachiocephalic vein for the drainage, and the nerve supply is by the vagus nerve. Let's go to the clinical anatomy. The clinical anatomy that we'll be discussing for the purpose of this class is what we call the DiGeorge syndrome. Now, DiGeorge syndrome is a congenital condition where the thymus fails to develop properly. And earlier we said that thymus develops from the third pharyngeal pouch. So if there's an issue and the thymus fails to develop properly, it can cause what we call the DiGeorge syndrome. And now we have common features of this DiGeorge syndrome, and it is labeled the CATCH. We call it the catch. The first one is the congenital as defects. Second one is the abdominal feces, which can be loose set of ears and also small jaw. We also have what we call the thymic aplasia, which is where the thymus is either absent or underdeveloped. We have what we call the cleft palate, and also a condition where the parathyroid organs can be underdeveloped. Now, I hope that with this, you understand the anatomy of the thymus, the basic anatomy of the thymus. So please, if you have any questions, drop them in the comment section and I'll do well to respond to that. See you in our next class. Thank you so much.